We thought about just skipping this show and going straight to 14, but in the end, we ain't scared.
Don't let fear lead your life.
Today we'll be discussing life choices. Good choices, bad choices, and choosing where to live. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance that is the Random Real Estate Show.
That's a pretty heavy intro there.
It's kind of my homage, if you will, big word, not fromage, meaning French for cheese, but homage to the Big Show. You saw Dan Patrick, and Keith Olbermann.
Dan again.
Hey, come on.
Hey, I like Dan, but I'm not in love with Dan.
Well, you spend too much time watching stuff that doesn't matter. Anyway, if you saw, they did
Mostly inappropriate.
They did a sports center the other night, and that was pretty cool. But that they used to always have the Big Show.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thing. Anyway.
All right. So quickly, I want to talk about something that I think is overlapped out of the sports world and then just to social media everywhere. And so it's about Antonio Brown, and everybody's probably a little bit sick of talking about him, the narrative about him. I wanted to switch up the narrative a little bit to something that a guy I'm not a humongous fan of. He does have some points sometimes. I think he just says stuff to say stuff a lot of times to create stuff. But Stephen A. Smith, controversial guy on ESPN. I've actually met him in real life, and he's a real nice guy in person. So
right.
One thing he mentioned about Antonio Brown, and this was, Stephen A. Smith is a black man, so this was guided towards young black individuals, mainly young black men. But I wanted to focus on just young people in general. What Antonio Brown is showing, he's obviously a role model. He's one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the NFL. And Stephen A. Scott had an argument that he's showing young black men and young men in general how to act. If you don't like a situation, become a fool to get out of it and then be rewarded. And it really bothered me because there was a lot of truth to that. Obviously, the guy is a role model, if he wants to be or not, to many people. And just to act the way that he's acting, it's coming out now that it may have been a lot more orchestrated than we'll ever know. But there is some proof that this guy was choosing to leave the Raiders damn near when he got to the Raiders. And, we can think about the Patriots how we want, but I hate to think that they're involved somehow. But, boy, were they on the ready.
It did seem odd, and I looked at it as like, well, if I'm the general manager and I don't have an offer ready, anytime I hear things are going on, what kind of general manager am I? I don't know. I'm kind of over it all, and the fact that the Raiders won last night, I thought was awesome. Just to go like, all right,
no,
who needs them?
I'm over it all, and I'm with you. I'm glad they won. I guess the point I wanted to bring up is that's not how you're supposed to lead, obviously. And please, for any young person, I think the problem is if you have a good home standing and you're a very sensible person, regardless of your home standing, you're not going to act like him to begin with. But there are a lot of young folks who are going down the wrong path who don't have good leadership in front of them and have these pro sports athletes and YouTube stars acting as their leaders. And they see this type of stuff, and it's just the exact way to go about things. He lost so much credibility, but in return, he was rewarded for it.
Well, listen, we can go back to Charles Barkley and the whole I'm not a role model.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is you can't tell me you're not a role model and then turn around and seek the adoration, if you will, of the public. You are a role, you're whether you want to be or not, and then don't. Even if you're saying that's fine, then don't. Let me get my words straight here. Don't knock me because I view you as a role model, just because you don't want to be viewed as one. If you're putting yourself out there to be seen,
mm-hmm.
then I have the right to judge you for that because you're the one seeking my adoration, versus some guy just walking down the road doing whatever. He's not asking me to pay attention to him at all.
Well, and like you said, he was seeking it because there was no shortage of social media posts in the recent last couple of weeks. And the last one came about that showed him running outside of his house, excited when he read that he was released. He won, okay? In the end, he won He's getting paid. I think he's going to ink another $20 million deal for 2020, which becomes guaranteed. But this is just the wrong path to show young people of how to act.
Here's the only thing where I see some difference there. If he all of a sudden is a 180 and he's just Mr. Patriot, then I think you're right. The caveat is I don't know if he can do it. If he really is the way he is all the time, I don't know if he finishes the season with the Patriots and they just go, you know what, see you, dude. And then I don't know who's going to want him after that.
No, I agree with you. But as I told my kids when we were all watching it, we had a big football Saturday, and they were asking me about him. And I just told my kids, I said, look, if you got value, somebody's going to pay you. You know what I mean? In whatever field that you're in, you're going to be provided value. And it's just the way it is.
Well, those are in our theme today of life choices. Those were some bad choices. And,
yes, do not be Antonio Brown.
We'll talk about some good choices right after this.
Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Arkless with Houston's Home Connection team. I want to share with you what it means when we talk about being local. You may have seen some of our videos on social media where we speak about local Lake Houston neighborhoods, local businesses, and general things that are happening in the Lake Houston area. When we share our videos, our goal is to let you know when you hire us to help you buy or sell a home, you are getting a team that knows your area. We live, we work, and we play in the Lake Houston area. Our kids go to the schools. We shop in local stores. Can we help in other areas of Greater Houston? Absolutely. But we'll never say we are the experts in knowing what's going on in those areas. So if we can help you with any questions about the home buying or home selling process, give us a call. We'd be happy to help. You can reach us by phone or text at 281-900-0292 or on our website at www.houstonshomeconnection.com or by emailing us at justask@houstonshomeconnection.com. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.
All right, we are back, and as we said, the last segment was bad choices, or at least in our estimation, bad choices. I'm going to talk about some good choices. I texted Josh the other day and said, "Hey, is it bad if my blood pressure is 229 over 136?" Josh didn't know, but his wife did, and apparently they thought I was dying. So I did make some choices to go in and get some blood pressure medication, things like that. And it's one of those deals where it's hard to kind of, as a guy, I guess, and I'm sure women are that way too, to put yourself in the hands of somebody else and admit that you're getting older and things of that nature. But, I've got kids that want to see their dad, I guess, for a while longer. And so we have to sometimes decide what's going to be a better life choice, whether or not it's the one we want to make, it's the one we have to make.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it was probably a smart move by you going to the doctor. And I think there was a little pushing by your wife, probably. But yeah, when you texted me that, my wife was like, "Oh, geez, I can't believe Tom's alive with that blood pressure."
Well, I tend to do that. It's a weird phenomenon. I've been told it's called white coat syndrome, that people that have normal blood pressure, when they go in and they're near a doctor, near getting it done, it just goes up. And I seem to have it because I've checked my blood pressure in the parking lot before. It's not my first round on blood pressure medication. I just sort of dropped off because our insurance changed and my doctor wasn't covered. And, I barely trust doctors as it is. So if the one that I trust is no longer on there, it's like, well, then I'm not going. So we just paid out of our pocket to go back to the only one I trust. But I've checked it in the parking lot and it's like perfect. And I go in there and it's high. And I don't feel nervous. I don't feel scared. It's just something that is.
That is weird. Now, are you scared of needles and dentist?
I was until, long story. I don't know if we've ever talked about it. I was in the ICU for a week after tearing an artery in my neck, and you can't be scared of needles in there because every 4 hours they were drawing blood on me. So you just kind of get used to it. I don't like it.
Jeez.
I'm not scared of it. I don't like it. I still sit there and get really freaky about it, but I'm not as like when I was a kid and I would get up and run around the clinic and make them
Yeah.
chase me down.
I can see you doing that.
Oh, I did it. Anyway, so good choices are sometimes just, making the choices that are what's right for you that aren't necessarily what you want to do, but the things you need to do. And that was my little deal. Because if you can't hear it, I think I got a cold coming on. So I've got hot tea with honey over here, and I've got medicine. And so my ability to offer something to the show is a little bit limited.
Well, let me know when you get painkillers. I might be more apt to be your buddy.
Yeah, I know, because you asked if I wanted some of my high blood pressure. I'm like, all I know is it makes me pass out in the kitchen.
No, not the way you've been acting. I want no part of that stuff at all.
All right. Well, that was some good choices in life. We will take another quick break, and we'll come back, and we're going to talk about some places that you can choose to live. Keller Mortgage is a nationwide lender offering a 0+ loan program exclusively to our clients. 0+ means that they don't charge the traditional lender fees like an origination fee, processing fee, underwriting fee, and so forth. And for loans over $150,000, they give you an additional $1,000. On average, this is saving our clients $5,000. That's cash they don't have to bring to closing. How can they do this and stay in business? Keller Mortgage doesn't spend a dime on marketing, so they pass that savings straight on to you, the customer, with competitive rates and no lenders. They also order a home appraisal on day one of the contract, helping you close faster. And if you terminate that contract, you don't pay them back for that appraisal. Would you like to skip the fees, save thousands, and close faster on your next home? Contact us today and let's get moving.
All right, everybody. So I read an article the other day. It was actually posted on September 5th, so it's a pretty recent article by U.S. News. And it has the top 10 places to live in Texas. Now, to me, you actually hear people, I'm from the Midwest and Tom's from Oklahoma, so we're not Texas natives. So it's weird for me to hear people retiring to Texas. It's probably not where I will want to retire. I mean, economical wise, it is a great place to live, especially where we're at. It's treated our family great. I just don't know if I like seasons. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's my deal too. Politically and financially, it's a great place.
Yes.
But I like, there to be a little bit of a change.
Yeah, and believe me, I've shoveled snow my whole life. I don't want to get back into that, but I would like to see falling leaves and 60-degree temps and, just stuff like that. I enjoy that type of foliage. But here we go. Top 10 places to live in Texas per U.S. News report on September 5th. Number 10 is Brownsville.
Never been there, but they tell me it's nice.
I've never been there. I think I have drove through there, but never have been there.
I did have a client that moved down there, and he did his time and moved right back. So it didn't seem like it was someplace he was wanting to stay.
So number 9 is McAllen. And I think McAllen's down on the border like Brownsville.
Is it? I thought it was up near Dallas.
No, that's Allen.
Oh.
This is McAllen.
Oh, so it's the Irish version.
Yes. Yep. So there's a lot of O'Shaughnessy's that live there. Number 8 is El Paso. And I think the weird thing about El Paso is if you drive to El Paso, it's almost as far as it is to drive. What is it, a 10, 12-hour drive?
I think it's further than that.
Is it?
Well, let's see. El Paso, Texas. Hang on. Shows here from where I'm at. 11 hours and 5 minutes from where we sit this very second.
From where we sit in Kingwood, Texas, 11 hours and 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So it takes me 15 and some change to drive to my hometown in Iowa. So you're talking about the same state. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, you can enter one side of the state and drive all day and not get to the other side.
Drive all day. We're still in Texas. All right, number 7, which might be a weird one, but Beaumont, Texas.
I have been to Beaumont.
I have too. I don't know if maybe I haven't seen the beauty of Beaumont, but it's number 7. Number 6, Corpus Christi.
I have visited Corpus.
Thoughts on that?
I could. from the time I visited, I could live. In other words, if I'm living here, I could live there. I mean,
Now
it's hot.
That's where South Padre is that?
Yes,
Okay.
or North Padre. I think you have to go further down to get to South Padre.
Okay.
The cool thing there is,
So, anyways, they probably have some water and some beaches that are fairly nice.
and the USS Lexington is there. And I've been to. There's 5 aircraft carriers that have been made into museums, and I've been to 3 of them. And Lexington was number 3 for us. So it's a cool place.
So number 5, some of you may know this. You hear about it more about the barbecue, but Killeen, Texas.
It's also where Fort Hood is, and I
Okay,
cannot imagine anybody wanting to live there.
Number,
My son was stationed there, and he didn't want to.
So that there are a few weird ones on here. Number 4, you'll probably guess, and 4 through 1, more or less the top 4 that you know of.
Okay.
So we'll go with the top 4 that are rest here. Number 4 is San Antonio. So I'm going to read the top 4, and then you give me what your top 4 would be out of the 4 main ones.
Okay.
4 San Antonio, 3 Houston, 2 Dallas Fort Worth, and then 1 is Austin.
Okay, I am a little shocked that Waco isn't on there, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I hear Waco's nice.
We've been
with
there.
the Baylor and
We've been there twice now in the last few weeks. Andrew, my wife, is like, we've been there more times in the last 2 weeks than I've ever been here in my life. You could, I think Waco would be a pretty, they've got like the old part, but then on the outskirts they've got a new part, so you could mix and match. Anyway, surprise. But of the top 4, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, and Austin. I'm happy to live here in Houston, to be quite honest.
So Austin's a weird one because it's eclectic, which I like. I'm not against any of that stuff. But when I was there, it was extremely dirty. And the homeless problem, you think you got a problem in Houston. I mean, that thing is getting out of control there.
I saw an article today where they think, is Austin the next Skid Row?
Oh, yeah.
Because they've changed some laws about what you can and can't do. And I'm like,
I personally, I think San Antonio's nice.
I like to visit. I just don't know that I'd want to live there.
No. I don't think Houston is a place that I'll say this. It's a great place to live, but if you're looking for the scenic route, cruise on by.
I think it's a great place. Out of those, you can get to any one of those other places in 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And come back to, I guess what I feel is a little bit more of a normal way of life. It's not like San Antonio is a touristy place.
Yes.
Austin, keep Austin weird. Dallas, Fort Worth, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Dallas seems more like a Houston. They may have more of a metropolis with the Fort Worth area. It's Dallas/Fort Worth is number 2, so I'll throw that in there.
Right. We were up there. We talked about my wife and I on a little weekend getaway, and we went up into Fort Worth last weekend, and it's still just hot. I mean, the thing to me is, unless you've got a lot of indoor stuff in a place that's hot, it's just still hot.
Yeah.
And so I've been to their science museum, which we have one here in Houston. Ours is better. I've been to some places that they have that is the same as we have. Ours is better, or their zoo is just as hot because it's outside. So I kind of put it equate it to that. Like if you are a place that's hot and you don't have a lot of indoor things to do that appease all the masses, like they may say, oh, we've got a better theater deal. Okay, well, I'm not going to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't find it to be any different than living here, except maybe the humidity is less there than here.
Yeah, I don't know. So as far as museums, I have been to the theater. I don't mind them. Houston's got a great theater. The Hobby Theater is a really nice place to watch a play or what have you, or orchestra. Dallas, I haven't explored it that much. It didn't do much for me. I have been there quite a few times, usually for sports events, and I don't know. I mean, I don't want to grab myself. But off topic, before we head out, if you had one place to move to and live right now, where would it be?
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the spot like that? Somewhere in Washington State. I don't think I would live in Seattle, but I would live somewhere, probably Tacoma. My in-laws lived in Tacoma, and we would go visit them, and I really, really enjoyed because in Washington State you have the ocean, you
Yes.
have the mountains. You go across the mountains, and then you're in like flat, land. There's rainforest. That area has everything. So as far as just if you're saying living there and enjoying that, their political climate probably doesn't match mine, but their outdoor climate, it was perfect for me. I loved it.
Yeah. I would probably have to say somewhere in that general area, talk about political climate, but California has a lot of things wrong with it. But like Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, that area, the Northern California area, the mountains, you can cruise down, you can get into the cities. I don't know. That area really intrigued me when I went there, and I'm as I get older, I'm really loving the outdoors of bike riding, hiking, and that's where I would like to see my future.
I agree, and that's what we've
Even
my
Oregon
wife
or
and I-
Washington, like you said.
Yeah, if I can find some place where certain beliefs and political whatever don't touch me. Yeah, I mean, if you're just talking purely like where would I like to live, wake up every day
Yeah,
and be, it's up in the Pacific Northwest.
it's not a bad
I don't
gig.
even mind that it rains. I actually kind of that hazy rain they have. I actually like it.
Oh man, is there anything better than sitting on the couch watching a game when it's raining out?
Well, that or just going for a hike, like putting on a like a rain type top
Right.
with shorts, because it's like not quite cold, but you just need a little something. And
Now, would you be wearing a halter top?
well,
All right, folks, this is
Yeah.
probably a
on that
good
note,
note to end
good
on.
gravy.
That's a good visual to have you guys have your day going. But so we want to thank you for listening again, and we hope that you enjoyed a little bit or maybe a lot of it. But we enjoyed having you here. And if you'd like to hear more of our podcasts, we have 13 now. So you can go to iTunes, and that's the Random Real Estate Show. Or you can find us on our real estate page on Facebook, the Houston's Home Connection Team. And that's also on YouTube under Houston's Home Connection Team. We have all our podcasts and our videos for real estate and what have you located on there. So we thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, you can reach us at justask@houstonshomeconnection.com. Take care.